This Thing Called You by Ernest Holmes, Chapter 2. Why then, if these things are true, is the world still impoverished, mentally and physically ill, and apparently unable to become unified? This is the great question. Why, and why, and why? Unless the question is adequately answered and its meaning increasingly applied to the human conduct, there is danger that the world may destroy its vast system of misconceptions and be compelled to begin over again. It seems as though a persistent purpose were being carried out, that anything which does not comply with this purpose must become submerged in the backwash of evolution, that which is more nearly right may come forward. The world has reached dramatic climax in its history. It has unloaded so much of the physical resources of the universe. It has unlocked so much of the physical resources of the universe that unless this enormous power is used constructively, it can well destroy it. The world stands on the brink of a great abyss, a terrific regression, or, if it choose, faces the horizon of a glorious day, a new age. But you may ask, why would an almighty power and a divine intelligence permit such possible disaster? This is something that you and I have no control over. God, or the creative genius of the universe, has placed this prerogative in the mind of man through giving him volition and choice. God itself could not will it otherwise. For if there is to be a valid choice, it must be accompanied by the possibility of more than one thing to choose. This is what Moses meant when he said that the word is in your own mouth, a blessing or a curse according to the way you use it. Jesus reiterated this when he said that the Spirit worketh until now, but now the Son works, that whatsoever thing the Son seeketh the Spirit do, that doeth the Son also, that the Spirit may be glorified in the Son. Now you are this child, and you wish the Spirit to be glorified through you. You may want life to live through you. You want to express joy. Start that paragraph over. Now you are this child, and you wish the Spirit to be glorified through you. You want life to live through you. You want joy to express itself in you. You desire peace of mind and happiness, success, health, radiant living. How could you desire these things unless they already exist as possibilities? Is there not an echo within you, as though it came from some invisible source, a deep feeling, an intuitive something? You cannot quite put it into words, yet there it is, definite as your life. Do not be afraid of this urging. All nature obeys it blindly. The culminating and triumphant result of evolution has placed in you the possibility of accepting or rejecting. In wonder and in awe before the grandeur of this possibility, the mind stands still. The imagination is staggered. But that hope which springs perennial in man's consciousness says, Beloved, now are we the children of God, and it doth not yet appear what we shall be. But we know that when it shall appear, we shall be like it, for we shall see it as it is. You already are a spiritual being. When the mind understands this and embodies its essence, that which you are in the invisible will become more apparent in the visible. You have concluded that this is true. You are reinforced by the age of ages. You are reinforced by the wisdom of the ages and are rapidly becoming further reinforced through the scientific investigation. Let us see if we cannot discover what blocks the way. We shall not discover any blocks in reality itself, but in our attitude towards it. Now that man has reached the stage of self-choice, he can temporarily, but not permanently, block the divine intention. Browning said that man can desecrate, but never lose the divine spark. It is always there. I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Let us suppose that you are spirit, soul, and body, as the Bible states, that your spirit already is perfect, an individualized center in the consciousness of God. God has made you out of itself. The only material it had was the substance of its own being. The only mind it had to implant in you was its mind. Only spirit it had to impart was its own spirit. What is man, that thou art mindful of him, or the Son of Man, that thou visitest him? Thou madest him a little lower than the angels. Thou crownedest him with glory and honor, and didst set him over the works of thy hands. You are a living being by virtue of the fact that through some process which no person knows, needs to know, or can know, life is incarnated in you, operating through you this moment. This is the gift of life. This is the gift of the child forever begotten in the bosom of the Spirit. You are an individual, like all individuals, gradually awakening to the greater possibilities. If life made you out of itself, which it most certainly did, and if you are an individual just a little different from all other individuals who ever lived, then life has not only created you as an independent being, it has also implanted a unique something within you. It will never be duplicated. The spirit that accompanies you through your life is just a little different from the spirit of any other person. Not different in that it is isolated, because all are rooted in the one being, but different in that it is individual. Suppose you were to think of it this way. There is a spirit in me, and this spirit is God as its own child. Whether or not I understand it, there is a real myself which forever exists in pure spirit. I had nothing to do with this. I merely woke and discovered it. I did not give it to myself, and I cannot withdraw myself from it. I can only accept it. Since you are an individual, and you can either accept or reject your own spirit. Since you are an individual, you can either accept or reject your own spirit. Of course, no one can take it away from you. Somewhere along the line, you will be compelled to accept it. However, you can procrastinate. You can divert. You can sidestep or delay this divine event. If you knew beyond question that this is true, your greatest search would be after your own spirit. Well, you do know this. Every desire you have for betterment in life is some echo from that deep within, which furthermore proclaims, "Behold, I make all things new." It is because your mind has the prerogative of accepting or rejecting that the Bible states, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any person hear my voice and open the door, I will come in and sup with them, and they with me." Suppose, with utmost simplicity, you accept the spirit that is in you. not in the mountains, nor in Jerusalem, not even in the temple, though it is there also, but in you, the spirit of yourself, standing between this spirit, your physical body, and external affairs. There is the sum total of your thinking, believing, and feeling. Perhaps more than anyone understands or believes, the sum total of every person's thought is a mirage of the ages. It would be well to think of it this way, that you may not condemn yourself. You are like everyone else, an infant crying in the night, something trying to be made whole, something that is a deep yearning for security, a deep and unspeakable longing for love, for protection, and for peace. But the mind is filled with the accumulated doubts of the ages, as though a vast abyss of doubt, fear, and uncertainty were standing between you and your desires. Here is where the science of mind can aid you, where your intellect may reach through to unite with your inspiration, where the conscious use of the laws of mind may break down the barriers which hide the face of love from the fact of unloveliness. If God created you from its own nature, and there is nothing else it could have made you out of, then the thing you are after is already here within you. The only things that stand between you and it are the accumulated thoughts, beliefs, and emotions of the ages. But there is nothing there that has not been put there either by yourself or by the race. What has been put there can be removed. These unbeliefs are thought patterns laid down throughout the ages and accentuated by your own experience, by your inherited tendencies and environment. There is no use wasting time speculating as to what avenue they came through. Your job is to reject them. Your intellect has now accepted that you can do this. Are you not, then, like one who has started on a journey to a beautiful city which they know exists? What if they have to climb a few mountains, make a certain number of detours, and cross a desert or ford a stream? Everything that is worth attaining is worth striving towards. It is the goal you are after. You have a vision and you are going to follow it. You may not reach your city of good in a single day, but its image out there in your desert is not a mirage. There was never a counterfeit without a reality back of it. Fortunately, your destiny is not external. If it were, you could not reach your goal. One by one, without frenzy or impatience, you are going to remove the mental blocks that stand between you and your destiny. What thought has done, thought can undo. The mental patterns laid down in your unconscious throughout the ages can be consciously removed. The great thing within you, which is called will or choice, can decide your destiny. It can remove every obstruction and gradually implant new patterns in your mind. Suppose you look at the proposition from another viewpoint. Suppose you place your physical environment, including your body and your conscious mind, at one end of a line. At the other end, place your spiritual being, God and infinite possibility. At this end of the line, everything is already perfect. Jesus called this the kingdom of heaven, which ought to come on earth. It should make its advent in your consciousness, in your experience. It wants to. The Spirit seeketh such. This end of the line is the kingdom which has been promised. This spirit is happy, whole, free, filled with joy, eternal in its existence, and can provide you with everlasting expansion. All your highest hopes and dreams have come from it. The echo of its being is in your intellect. The voice of its unspoken word is in your mind. The feeling of its light and life is in your heart. The emotion of its imagination is in your soul. At the other end of the line is your physical environment, including your body, most of your conscious thoughts, your daily hopes and aspirations, fears and failures, all apparently isolated, wandering in a desert of despair, climbing endless mountains, at times lost in an interminable forests through which light does not break, fording rushing streams in the turmoil of life, searching, wondering, hoping, longing, yearning towards that other half of its being which alone can make it whole. Don't you think that this is a good description of your attitudes and experiences? One half of you is in heaven and the other half on a dense earth. The heavenly willing to come forward and answer your every need, and the earth half striving towards the heavenly, and the apparent barrier. If you knew, as you know that you live, that this barrier were only a thing of thought or belief, the first half of your journey would be accomplished. You would know that you have the tools to cut down the forest, level the mountains, bridge the streams, and cause the desert to bloom. If you listen to yourself long enough, you will know this. With hope and enthusiasm, you will start on your journey. You will never become discouraged or disheartened. Your vision will be on this city of good, and you will feel, and your feet, your mind, your intellect, your will travel towards the city, and you will surely enter its gates. Let us use another illustration. Let us think of a tunnel, one end of which is out in the open where there are fertile valleys, glorious sunshine, verdant vegetation. There is song, laughter, happiness, peace, and joy. Let us call this the valley of contentment. Let us also call it the kingdom of God. You are at the other end of the tunnel in a deep, dark cavern overlooking a desert through which no refreshing streams flow. Somehow, your attention has been drawn to the open end of this tunnel. With a curiosity that you did not put in your mind, you wish to investigate where this tunnel leads. What is at the other end of it? You peer into the tunnel. At first, it seems dark, but occasionally a shaft of light shines through it, and you catch a vision of the other side. You have a great longing to walk through this tunnel, to leave behind the dismal scene of discontent and unhappiness, and to enter into the joy that your brief glimpse has promised. For in this glimpse you have seemed to see yourself standing at the other end of the tunnel. Perhaps in this momentary vision you seem to have seen your own spirit. It seems as though something says, "Yes, this is myself. How am I going to unite myself with myself?" Then darkness closes in. Your vision has vanished. It must have been an illusion. Now, there are two voices that seem to be talking to you. One voice says you are following a mirage, an illusion. There is nothing real but this end of the tunnel. Accept things as they are. Make the best of them. Be as happy as you can, but do not hope. This is the voice of despair. The other voice is saying, do not be afraid. Your vision is true. Enter the tunnel and walk through. There is nothing solid in it. That which obstructs your passage is vapor, the vapor of unbelief. It is dense only with the denseness of doubt. It is filled with the thoughts of the ages. There is a lamp within you already lighted. As you walk through the tunnel, the darkness will disappear because of this light. You will find the other half of yourself, and you will discover that this tunnel is your own mind. This is a picture of yourself, your efforts, your hopes and longings, your inspirations and doubts, your fears and faiths. The barrier between you and your greater good are not barriers in themselves. They are things of thought. It is because of this that all things are possible to faith. Jesus summed up the whole proposition when he said, "It is done unto you as you believe." In interpreting this saying, however, you must pause after the words "as." Think about its meaning, and you will discover that he was saying that life not only responds to your belief, it responds after the manner of your believing, as you believe. It is like a mirror reflecting the image of your belief. While the laws of mind, like all laws of nature, are neutral, good must finally overcome evil. Evil is a negation. Good is positive. Like light and darkness, darkness cannot overcome light, but light can neutralize darkness. This is why Jesus said, if you seek the kingdom first, everything else will be added. And in this everything else is included all the things in this life that make for full livingness and joy, peace and happiness, health and harmony, and the success that rightfully belongs to a divine being. The only warning Jesus made against the use of this highest law of your being was that it should not be used destructively. For all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. The kingdom of God contains everything that is or could be desired. This everything already exists as a potential something to be drawn upon. You may use this potential for any good purpose, not only with certainty of success, but with safety. It is only when we use natural forces wrongly that they can destroy, and it is ordained that this destruction be of a temporary nature. You wish to use the laws of your being in such a way that they cannot bring evil to yourself or others. Therefore, you must be certain that your desire is towards more life for everyone, including yourself. If you follow this rule, you cannot use the law wrongly. There is a law of faith and belief which is just as definite as any other law in nature. This law utilizes the creative principle of life in such a way that all lesser uses of it become submerged. This is the triumph of spirit. And that is chapter 2 of this thing called you.